Hello again. Chicago jewellery maker Stephany has contacted me about Baubo after seeing my YouTube posts about her on Stories from the Art Room. Stephany asked me if I would like to contribute to a co-prosperity group show featuring Baubo, due to take place during the Spring Equinox in 2025 at the Cultural Centre Gallery in Chicago. So this post will showcase all 38 of the small figurines that I created for my master's degree in fine art, so that Stephany might choose which ones she would like for the exhibition. I also promised to show images of Baubo figurines that are part of a collection at the Antikensammlung Staatliche Museum in Berlin. I apologise for my pronunciation. These photos were taken by Ingrid Gaske-Heiden and were very kindly sent to me many years ago. This channel and I do not claim any right over these images, which are used for educational purposes only, with all rights reserved to their respective copyright owners. Now, if I were to do a retrospective of my creative output, both in the visual arts as well as in my writing, the figure that would feature most predominantly would be Baubo. For the uninitiated, Baubo is an ancient Greek demigoddess who played a pivotal role in the Eleusinian mysteries of Demeter, the goddess of corn, and her daughter Persephone, queen of the underworld. Baubo is a wise clown. In a movie about her, I should think Baubo must be played by a gifted stand-up comedian. Say for British audiences, Sarah Milligan or Dawn French, or for Americans perhaps Whoopi Goldberg or Bette Midler. Please post your suggestions, I would love to hear them. You see, Baubo displays a gesture called Anai-Soromai to Demeter that had multiple meanings. Baubo raised her skirts to show her secret place, to remind Demeter that all who die will return to the mother goddess to be reborn. This spiritual joke had the power to dispel Demeter's despair at the death of her daughter. There was a worldwide icy grip of perpetual winter going on, and this was broken by the sound of Demeter laughing at Baubo's antics. The restoration of good humour in the goddess, who was understood to be the measure of all things, Demeter, empowers her to retrieve Persephone from the underworld and enable springtime to return. The psychological aspects of myths can crack and twist nonsensically over time, reflecting cultural and sociological change. I learnt this at art college, where I studied fairy tales, folk tales and religious myths as I formulated a mission statement or philosophical driving force for my creativity. In my mid-30s, I escaped a stressful job by going to art college to heal myself, where I gained the time, headspace and energy to find my bearings and gain a perspective on my close relationships. I was searching for a way to be, a measure of serenity, truth, or arrival, a journey of the soul, if you will. I remember many years ago the Jewish actress Maureen Lipman talked about her religious beliefs during an interview which may have been shown on BBC Radio 4 Woman's Hour. Maureen said she had a pick and mix attitude towards religious philosophy. I could relate to that, for although I was brought up to be a Protestant, and I found much of religious teaching valuable, nevertheless, from the point of view of a woman, I found the fundamental stories of Christian faith problematic and difficult to relate to. My feelings were confirmed in the late 1990s when I watched a woman police officer called Carol Bristow present an episode of a religious documentary series called Everyman on British TV. Detective Bristow had attended many crime scenes of sexual violence against women. She wanted to challenge the idea that it was pornography that was the root cause of this misogynist aggression. Carol believed another influence was at work, which was profoundly sexually compromising for women, and ultimately it had very dangerous consequences for them. This being the story of Eve causing the expulsion from paradise and the concept of an immaculate conception. As women gain more opportunities worldwide, they need vital, positive attributes in the construct that describes their gender. The last thing a woman wants is cultural impediments written into her understanding of femininity that are liable to sink her psychologically. Accordingly, women have been hard at work finding viable role models for the new dynamics of their lives today. We have not had to invent all of them, since there always has been an ultimate role model for women. By this I mean a religious one that is not a displacement proxy in the opposing gender, but a direct, straight to the top creator as mother or higher self who looks back from the mirror's mind's eye, reflecting mortal woman. You've got to admit that considerable kudos and prestige are afforded to the gender in whom the creator is embodied. Is this the key to smashing the glass ceiling in a woman's mind? Even today, in the collective unconscious, the perceived attitude of the gods towards producing a human incarnation is ambivalent. In the late Roman period, a tremendous religious collective experience occurred when Yahweh incarnated as a divine mortal son with historical reality. Marie-Louise von Franz proposed in her book The Feminine in Fairy Tales that the process of producing a female human personification of a goddess failed and did not become a religious event in the cult of Aphrodite Venus and all other goddesses. However, I saw a documentary about Knossos recently, where archaeologists were overhauling our understanding of Minoan culture, and it appears the throne room at Knossos may have been for a human incarnation of a goddess. To return to the myth of Demeter and Persephone, as I said earlier, the psychological aspects of myths can crack and twist over time, reflecting cultural and sociological change. It may surprise some people to know that there are antecedents to the story of the Garden of Eden. A candidate for kinship at the time of the ancient Greeks had to venture to the farthest point west to find a paradisical garden owned by nymphs called the Hesperides, and there to overcome a dragon or great worm and take his gold. But the serpent was the prince's future as an oracular ghost, and his passport to paradise was a golden apple given as a reward for carrying the sun disk of his reign, somewhat like an Egyptian pharaoh. And past religious traditions have often featured unions between gods and mortals to produce a Christos. For example, Attis, Adonis and Osiris. According to Barbara G. Walker in her book The Woman's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets, Hades, the underworld god, lord of death, consort of Hecate, Persephone, was converted in later Greek myth into the abductor of the virgin Persephone or Kore. Walker writes, it was Persephone who was really the death goddess, called the Destroyer, who presided over the underworld before Hades. The ancient Greek name for Hades was Aidoneus. This meant blind one, a common title of the phallic hidden god in the womb of the earth. Pindar said, happy is he who goes below the hollow earth, knows the end of life and God-sent beginning. Pictures and sculpture hold a great wealth of information. However, eventually I needed to change from images to writing to fully express my stories. I wanted to revisit the myth of Demeter, Persephone and Baubo in my Whisper Copy Planet trilogy. In my modern take, I reversed the mother-daughter roles to cast light from hidden and forgotten perspectives on images we have of ourselves. Quantum physics proposes that there are multiple manifestations of our Earth and ourselves. My central character enters the underworld Earth in a modern odyssey where she encounters humorous and horrifying experiences, searching for her real mother. The mythographer Robert Graves coined the word iconotropy, a deliberate reinterpretation of a dramatic rite or sacred picture to set a seal on the radical reform of ancient beliefs. The fresco depiction of a religious initiation at the Villa of Mysteries at Pompeii allows us to witness a communal sacrament an unexpected hallucination, as a woman is shown engaging with great respect and love in religious acts, symbolising a reality transformation. Perhaps this fresco gives an insight into the religious festivals that took place at Eleusis. If it was still possible to attend those rites, I imagine myself laughing with Baubo while making interconnections with other religious philosophies. Next time I will explain the context in which my Baubo figurines were shown for my master's degree fine arts show. Below is a link to my Whisper Copy Planet trilogy in which Baubo is a key character. So until the next time, bye for now.